So recording it should be saying, it says recording. You can see that at the top. And let me just introduce us. As I just said, this is Learning Together, episode 421, and it's the 22nd of September. And I'm Vance Stevens in Penang, Malaysia. I'm here talking with Nick Koretsky, who's in Moscow, I believe. And he's going to talk about Grammar Cube, this amazing invention we've been playing with for the last couple of weeks since we set this up. And he's going to explain it to us. And I suppose if it's just the two of us, I'll get to ask him lots of questions and figure out myself how it works.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. So I don't know if we're waiting for more people to join us, but
we will go. We will go.
Let's see. Okay, let me start a screen share, and I'll just ask you. This is the way I've thought I could begin this. If I just ask you, how do you work this thing? This is. Let me just pull it up. Okay, so I'm gonna. I'll pull it up in a window here, and then I'll share this window. So over here in the Zoom window, I'm going to share that screen because you've shown it to me many times, but I haven't really had a chance. Let's see. Can you see it on my screen?
Yes, I see it.
Okay, here it is. So how do I work this? If I'm one of your students and you're showing me this, and I'm saying, teacher, what's this? You know,
what is this? Okay, so first of all, you should understand that this is a 3D arrangement of a number of grammar tables, which everyone is familiar with from regular grammar books. First and foremost, you should understand that all the sites, they are pre-arranged to be devoted for certain parts of grammar, and Grammar Cube is only about verbal grammar, you see? And you can see here that all the surfaces, they have three colors. It's yellow color, it's green color, and it's blue color, okay?
Okay, so, I'm having trouble getting the other colors. I'm stuck on yellow. Why am I stuck on yellow? It seems to be stuck there. Uh-oh, what happened to Zoom? Oh no. Okay, what's going on here? Meeting controls went, oh, maybe I'll stop my share. Okay, I'll stop my share, there we go. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. Can you hear me? You can't hear, okay. Let me put this on pause. Okay, one moment, please. Let's see, pause recording. Okay, here we are. We had a little pause there. Well, Nick sorted out a sound problem on his end. Okay. Oh yes, we were in Grammar Cube. Let me see if I can
share me a screen.
I noted that it was it seemed frozen. Let me close that window and I'll try to come back to it.
Yes.
Okay. So okay. Hang on. I need to find it again.
Looks like three of me here.
Yeah, I just need to find the link to it, and that's right here. Okay, so this should be the link. I'm not sure if that's what caused the crash. Okay, so here now I'm in it now. Okay, yes, same thing is happening. Okay, let me share the screen then. Okay, the Zoom meeting, I'm going to share the screen. Here we are. Okay, do you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got the yellow screen here. How do I stop that? How do I get rid of it?
To close it, you have the red cross in the
Yes.
yes.
Got it. Okay. Yes. Okay. So.
Red cross is there.
Okay.
So I will continue. So you have three colors.
Mm-hmm.
Color yellow color is for tenses.
Okay.
Green color is for infinitives. And
Yes.
blue color is for modals, which is not here, but it is, well, it is supposed to. It has on the other versions of my grammar cube. So
Okay.
it was technically difficult to implement it in this particular software.
Okay. Well,
this is why I.
This is as I'm learning how to do this really for the first time.
Okay.
Let's you can talk me through this one. So if I'm a student, okay.
So if you are a student and you start learning English, you open a grammar book and you practically lost in it because you don't speak this language, you barely know grammar, and you have no idea that some parts of grammar are more important than others. You don't know how to prioritize. And this grammar cube helps you to focus on the very core, on the most important part and most complex part of English grammar. It helps you to see it and to navigate across tenses. And most importantly, you can click and use it as a reference on how to build different tenses, how to build three types of sentences: is positive, question, and negative sentences. So click on it and you use it, and you can quickly navigate and see how things work in general. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And so on this part, I can use negative or continuous or what I've done, for example.
This is infinitive. This is green one. You see, this is not yellow.
Okay, we're in yellow. Okay.
Yes, you need to focus on yellow if you want to work with tenses.
Okay.
Yes, and tenses are the most complex part because they're numerous tenses, and each tense has its own formula how to form a sentence. And this is quite time-consuming for beginners, for a student from beginner to intermediate level. It is very time-consuming to sort things out and to start using it because they practically lost in this volume of information. They cannot sort it out. This one, it helps to sort things out. It helps to click and navigate between them in a more convenient way because usually this information is presented in grammar books on many pages, and in many cases it is not arranged in straightforward and clear way. And grammar cube helps you to see things together, and by clicking a particular field, it helps you to see how you build a sentence in this or that particular tense. Okay? This is it.
Okay. So I want to say I am listening to you and you are being listened to. Maybe we could start like that. So I am listening to you. Here we go. This is this one right here.
Yes.
I am listening is positive.
Yes.
Okay.
But if you turn to the back side of the grammar cube, you will go into passive forms.
Okay.
See? It's active and there's yes. Okay. Exactly. You can see there. Yes. There you see. You can play and click the same. Present, continuous. So this is future indefinite.
Yes. I want past.
Switched on. You want past. Continuous.
Oh no, past, not past, present. I want present.
You want present continuous. Yes,
Okay. Oh, I must have got it. Yes, I am. You are.
This is present. This is present indefinite. See?
This is you are.
No.
Listened to, of course. we went continuous.
No, this is not continuous. You see, there is a present indefinite. It is written on the down part. So present continuous is down.
Yes, this one here. I can recognize it. Yes, okay.
That's it. Okay. Now you are.
Okay. So before I was here. That's the, okay. So you have to click on the right part. That's what, one thing I was having trouble with. I wasn't, something came up and I wasn't distinguishing that it was, yes, okay. All right. Now that's very helpful because I couldn't see that myself and just playing around with it. But yes, and that's something, I guess that's something you would tell your students and you would have them understand to do that. So that really helps a lot. So everything at the top is what we call simple. Simple is right there. It's simple and continuous and perfect.
The information is arranged in layers. It's simple, continuous, perfect, continuous. And the tables, these are past, present, future, and the past. And on the junction between those one, you can have it, well, but not infinitives. Infinitives are different, but they are also related to those aspects because you know that there are simple infinitives, continuous infinitives, perfect infinitives. And looking at that cube, you can see that too. It is related to the whole system of English grammar. You see? You can look at them at once.
Yes, okay. What would I do with an infinitive? Let's see, I don't know how to use a computer, or use the grammar cube. I don't know how to do that. I do not, that's a negative. I want it to be...
You just click it and it will show.
I do not, okay, so if I click it, it's not continuous, it's not one of those, it's not one of these, okay? So, oops. So it's, oops. Let's see. Not that.
No, there are clickable and non-clickable parts. Clickable parts are green, yellow. All other parts are non-clickable. So to rotate the cube, you use any part which is not clickable, which is not yellow, not green. See?
Okay. So. Am I doing, I want to, I don't know, I do not know how to use the grammar cube. So I want, it's not passive, so it's.
This is infinitive, passive infinitive.
Yes. Example, to use.
It must, yes. Usually,
so it's factive. Yeah, I don't know how to use. This is what I want.
It is a good idea to consider grammar cube as a teaching aid, as a supplement to your regular grammar book, and it helps you to arrange the material in grammar book in a 3D space, in a special arrangement, by geometry. So, for example, when students open the grammar book and this, for example, present continuous or present simple in these first pages, you scroll to the further materials, you open past perfect, and you have no idea how past perfect is related to present indefinite or how past continuous active are related to past continuous passive. So this one helps you to see the relationships between them in space.
Yes, and it's at your fingertips.
Yes.
Whereas the book is not.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it was not my idea to put the whole material of the grammar book into this cube because it would be too much of information, you see. The idea of the grammar cube is to help you arrange material in a more clickable and more convenient way. Because, for example, if your student interested in present continuous grammar tense as in more detail, you can always open your grammar book and read because lots of materials on it. But what what is one of the biggest problems that students face is arrangement of all these mass of information, because lots of information in the grammar book. And this one helps you to see it in general, in 3D, you see? And this is particularly helpful when you are a beginner and you don't know English or you have very little experience in this. Okay?
And in class, you mentioned that you can pull this up on your smartboard and you can demonstrate to the students.
Sure. By the way, if you go to my website, this is granow.com.
Do you want to go there? Do you want to show us?
Yeah, please. Yes, just go there. Right on the front page, you can see, you can share your screen too, and just to make sure that everyone will see it.
Don't see it yet.
I sent you in a chat.
Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, you can share it if you want.
You see, I have two versions of my website, which one is Russian and the other is English. So since you are in English zone,
okay, I will do that. Yes, okay.
My version will be Russian.
Yes, okay. I'm just trying to get back to my Zoom window. Oh, here it is, okay. And I'm going to share that page that you just shared with me. There it is. Okay.
Yes.
You see it?
Now you see this. It was a session that we did in one of the school. Here you see this is the children playing with the grammar cube, with one of versions of it on the screen. It was a session first for teachers, and then we arranged a session with the students, actually with children. I gave them this physical grammar cube, and just to help them familiarize with it. And then they started to play with interactive model on the table. First, they were a little shy, they didn't understand, but they grasped it very quickly. And as soon as they understood the main principle of arrangement, they started to use it. And this boy in a green t-shirt, he said when he grasped it, he said, "Wow, what a useful thing! How I need it for my lessons." Well, it was very pleasant to hear, because really it is a very big problem. It's quite a frustration for beginners to get through these forest of numerous tenses and their forms. It's a really big, complicated problem, which is often not recognized by teachers, and particularly if you are a native teacher, if you're a native speaker, it is your native language. Well, usually this is not considered as a problem at all, and it's only seen by the other side if you're new to the lesson. Okay. So, you want to ask something?
As someone who's learned a number of languages, I suppose I suppose the language that I'm learning more similarly to the way your students might learn English is probably Spanish. It has a lot of complicated tenses, and it's also not a language that I use often, whereas I might use French, or if I'm in, I lived in UAE and Saudi Arabia and Oman for some time, I used a lot of Arabic. So I sort of was able to use the language as I'm learning it. So I didn't really feel I needed to refer to grammar tables. But with Spanish, it's a very complicated system, and it's that one really is, when I learn it in a classroom, the teacher wants me to conjugate the verbs, and it just is disjunct. I'm completely disjunct. I have anyway, I'm lost with so I sort of feel more in the situation of these students. But of course, I can't take a grammar cube to a test with me, or I can't take it to, I can use it myself if I'm trying to write something that might be very useful. But do you find that the grammar cube helps your students if they don't actually have it there, can they actually learn the tenses better?
Well, in my particular, well, first of all, I understand the question. The grammar cube as the concept and the grammar organizer as a concept, it appeared mostly from the problems that I had with my students in the class. Because, as I said, when I was trying to introduce the students to English grammar and to those to help them use the tenses correctly, I have to present them the options. Well, which kind of tenses do you have? Which forms do these tenses have? And how to memorize them better. So you need a sort of organizer. And we started to play with kind of tables, which, well, you know, familiar to students and to teachers. But I needed something that would help students to see a system in general and to be able to click between them and navigate and to help them to progress in language. And as I say from my particular experience, it really helps them to progress in class, because when I explain tenses and differences between them, I not only explain them in my words and not only in text, but I also tell them, okay, please go into the quest into this 3D cube and find me the tense that you want to say, okay? Because when students get into this situation where they have to find and click and show me the tense that they're trying to use, it makes them realize that actually this is a system and you cannot open your mouth and start speaking unless you already predetermined the tense which you are going to use to express your idea. You see? You're not just speaking, you encode your idea into other language, in English, by using this system of grammar like a coding machine, you see, like Enigma. You see, and this one helps to progress. It helps to cut the learning time. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And do you measure the learning through tests, or do you have them write things or listen to things, or how does it translate into their active learning?
Well, speaking about active learning, in general, my students cover the period of learning from beginner to intermediate in somewhat about 80 to 100 hours, mm-hmm. Which is just to let you know that, for example, in a regular situation, to cover this period, usually students spend from 500 to 800 hours. Mm-hmm. So it is a significant time saving. And it helps. Of course, I don't want to say that the grammar cube is a magic silver bullet that solves all the problems. Not, of course. But it helps to sort out the core of a language, which is the most complicated one. Of course, students have to learn not only tenses, but all other grammar aspects. But tenses are usually the most complicated. And once they are sorted out, the rest comes much easier. See? And it saves a lot of time, it saves a lot of nerves, and even with not so successful, not so bright students, it helps particularly because they can visualize and they can tangibly work with grammar. For example, the whole idea that you can hold the grammar in your hands is mind-blowing, and they just start looking at it. Wow, what is that? What is this? For example, when I explain them, okay, we learn a sample test. For example, Tom Sawyer lived in a little town, and I tell them, okay, put your finger here on the grammar cube, on the tense that you used in this sentence. which is, how? I said, this one, okay, present simple. This is one that you use. Live, or past simple. Live, okay? Or for example, he is going to the beach. Put your finger where it is. And when the students start to point their fingers, each time they express the ideas with the sentence, they start to realize that they're not just speaking, they are coding what they say in this system of English grammar. You see, this is a virtual machine which is encoding and decoding the messages. And when they start putting their fingers here and there, it's like a brand new experience for them. And for example, there are many kinds of games that we can play. For example, I have two students, and one of them speaks or expresses the sentence, and the other one must guess which part of the grammar cube he has in mind. And of course, the more complex grammar tense you use, the more difficult it is for other students to guess which one it is. So this way, in a competition, they start using more and more complex tenses, you see? And it is fun because each time you open something new, it's like, like competition, like students, they just discover that grammar is not boring. It is tangible. You can touch it, you can play with it. And my daughter, when I taught her English, she particularly liked the lessons when she had to this grammar cube as a drum, you see. So you use it as a drum by pointing your finger to particular tenses that you use. So this is one of the scenarios, and as I said, it can be used on interactive board if you have one. You don't have, you say, but you have this physical one. It's also helpful because students start to realize that grammar can be fun. It can be like a quest, a discovery, and it's never boring. You see, this is something that because once teacher starts to chant these present, perfect, continuous, past, indefinite, past, everybody got to sleep in it. Okay?
But yeah, the usual way is to have the students conjugate, parrot these things, and that just doesn't really work. No, and I can see, actually, putting this into my own teaching context, where my Arabic learners were supposed to have learned all this before, so I never really felt I had to go back to square one. Of course, you do to an extent, but you could see that they're very random in their thinking about. They'll choose this tense, they'll choose that one, but they don't really see the relationships. They don't.
Exactly.
And this is actually a good way to do it. As a language learner, I can, and I know, let's say with French pronunciation, I took a phonology course one time, and that you learned the phonetic symbols for the pronunciations you were trying to get at. That organizes things in your mind. So all of a sudden, you can distinguish in not only cognitively as well as physically the differences in the sounds. So I can see where this would solve that problem, because it, especially as you say, the other students are having to find it on there. So that means they're understanding the relationship. They're understanding which part of the cube it's on. It's not somewhere in the book. They have to pull it from rote memory, So yeah, that's a nice little concept. What got you onto this? How did you come upon this idea?
Practically, first thing is that my first but unfinished education is in engineering, and I always, when I started my second education, like linguistics, I always had this approach, like engineering approach to this whole concept of language learning. And probably this is what worked mostly for me, because I want to tell that I'm not good at languages at all. And I'm the first guy in the whole generations of our family who speaks foreign language. And it was like crazy for my parents for a long, long time. My dad didn't believe for a long time they can speak English. He said, wow, it's impossible. How? You're the first guy in the whole.
You're very good at it.
No, by the way, I'm not good. I don't have a good memory and my language is not so good. But this sort of engineering approach is the one that helped me to overcome all the problems and difficulties that I had. This is the only way how I coped with all the troubles. And later on, when I started to teach and I started to see that other students have the same problems, I just somehow used these new technologies to put into physical form something that I already had in my mind. And we are very lucky to live in this incredible time when we have all this technology. It's all over available. It is dirt cheap or free at all, and everybody can use it, which is amazing. And this is why I believe we are very much blessed generation, because what we have is practically magic. You see, when you do something in 3D, when you start building that amazing things that people do, it's like truly magical. And this is we can use in our profession. We can help our students to see the grammar in absolutely new and untraditional way. It really helps. Just as another example, learning grammar in a traditional way is like trying to understand how a dog functions by not seeing a dog alive before. For example, if you come to school, they start teaching you a dog, but don't show you actually a dog itself.
Mm-hmm.
They show you different parts of a dog. This is the leg of a dog. This is the head of a dog.
Mm-hmm.
This is the skin, but they never show you the dog in one piece. So you have to build it in your mind. And you see, it's a complicated task to build a dog from different pieces. Not everyone can do that. And this is a complicated task. And this is one of the things that solves the problem. You see the dog alive in one piece, in the whole. You can touch it. You can play with it. It's fun. It's colorful. You see? And once the students get this idea that the dog is alive, it can bark, it can wag its tail, it can play with you, things become absolutely different. They jump into language and they learn it much faster and much easier. Well, this is one of the ideas that I put into that. Okay.
You know, when I traveled in Africa for some time, and I sat on a lot of buses for hours. And I sometimes carried French books with me, and I would start reading a book in French, and I would get bogged down on all the grammar and everything. And I would have to go very slowly because I suppose in my mind that the book was the dog, and I didn't really understand it until I got into it. I started, I had to overcome a threshold before I could start really reading fluently.
Seeing the dog, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to put it out of the realm of dogs and into, say, reading, you know, any kind of decoding that you have to, whether it's coding or whatever it is, we have to understand a system. Then once you've got the system internalized, well, you don't really have it internalized until you start working with real dogs or start reading or whatever, or writing. So, but that helps you, I think, get over the initial hurdle, the initial threshold, you know, to where if you can make that more efficient, then you start, I mean, obviously your level of English, let's say, is not something that you got just from conceptualizing in the form of a cube or applying your engineering to it. It probably kicked you into some other level that you could then start acquiring it in your own, you know, through the input that was coming to you from your reading or listening or whatever you were doing, going on the internet. So, but you're saying that your students are right at they're at the beginning level and they're just trying to decode, and do you see any evidence, like from students you've had before, that they are better in English as a result of having had this introduction to it?
Uh, you know, of course, I don't have so many students like in math, but I can say that in many cases, my students progress much faster, especially when I take them in a golden age, like in a period from about 10 years old to 12, 13 years old. This is the golden age. Because before that, your mind, the children's mind is not prepared. It's too simple. It cannot process complex systems. When you take them in older age, it's already somehow, like it's already fixed. It's already put into some structure. It's fixed. Mm-hmm. But in this particular age, when I take them, this is where things get really amazing because, for example, I had students in this particular age who learned English from 0 level to fluency, to speaking about IELTS 4.5, maybe 5.0, in just about 40 to 60 hours of learning. Believe it or not, yes. And it was amazing that students, they grasp the idea from the grammar cube, from the arrangement of that. They start to quickly orient themselves, switch between the tenses. They quickly get the idea, and then they memorize it very much easier. They have this in their mind, and it helps them to build the core of a language inside their mind, which helps them to progress further. Okay? Are you okay?
Yeah. Sorry, I thought I heard my wife in the other room saying something. I wasn't sure. Okay. I had to remove the earbuds to see.
Yeah, I saw it.
This kind of gets to the different age levels, the way that different people learn. I mean, you're obviously someone who has an analytical mind, and you're amenable to analysis. Children are probably starting to lateralize at that age. But as we know, children can pick up languages at a young age, and they learn in completely different ways. And also adults are that way. Some adults would learn, would not. You've probably encountered people who maybe reject the grammar cube. It's too analytical. It's not the art. It's not enough left brain. So. What do you find people who don't really find learning in that way? Yeah.
Well, first of all, I know people who are gifted by, God or some superior forces. They just genetically predetermined to learn languages like that. You see? And for those people, of course, they don't need this sort of support. They just naturally grasp the language somehow. But they say that looking at grammar cube helps them to see the system, which also, somewhat helpful. But you don't, if you are a good runner, you don't need any bicycle. You run quickly yourself. You see? Mm-hmm. This is a sort of a thing that helps people who can't walk. See? It helps them to start walking when they can. And as soon as they start walking, they can abandon it and walk themselves further. And you're absolutely right. Children, they learn languages totally different. They just memorize from listening patterns. And definitely, my particular system of teaching is definitely not for children. And I'm often asked by parents, can you teach our kids? We know you are this and that. And said, okay, your children must be at least 10 years old. I'm sorry, I don't teach small children. Sorry, this is not my area. Okay? Not my piece of pie. But once they are in these soft and golden ages, this is why I can do miracles. Later on, it also helps, as I said, for grown-ups, especially with students who are from the areas of applicable sciences, from engineers, pilots, like medical professionals, like people who work with some complicated issues. These are the professions which really help, really enjoy working with it, because they already have their minds like arranged in an engineering way, in mathematical way. They want it in structure, and I give them this structure, and they love it, and they progress quickly. You see? However, not all grown-ups have this kind of predetermined and arranged and sophisticated set of mind, and this is where things get south, get weird, because when we start learning language, it is very much frustrating for them to get the idea that actually it's a code, it is a program, it's algorithm. You either follow this algorithm or people just don't understand you. So learning language for them is fighting against this mess in their mind, and it's very interesting because I have one of the students like that. I believe he has some medical condition, but he doesn't want to accept it. But he's very much enthusiastic. He has sort of, I would say he has some dysfunction, like dyslexia or something, which is like wrong wiring in the brain. It's like, something is wrong with brain wiring, and he's very unusual. He's very talented man. He's about 35. And the way how he sees the grammar cube, how he interprets the whole system of English grammar is like amazing. But it helps him a lot because he starts seeing it as a system. It helps him to decrease the number of variables, because what kills him is incredible number of variables that he has to take in mind, and it kills his memory. So memory is not enough. He's very much frustrated. And Grammar Cube helps. When he saw it, he said, "That's it. This is the whole grammar." I said, "Yes." He said, "Wow," because it's like it's a time saver. It's like helping him to get away of all the rubbish that he has been taught, and all the frustration has gone to. If I learn this thing, I will speak English. I said, "Yes." He said, "Wow, thank you very much. Let's go. I am yours," and we are already going there. So it helps. It helps to sort. And believe it or not, this one, in many cases, when I teach, I see that by teaching, I sort out not only pedagogical, but in many cases, I sort out medical conditions, because believe it or not, but Alzheimer's disease becomes younger because not only I saw people in old age with very fresh, I would say, pink and bright mind, absolutely flexible, very easily grasping new concepts and ideas. And I saw on the other end, 25 or 30 years old people with already clear Alzheimer's disease problems, because they cannot memorize very simple phrases. They have difficulties with special orientation. So it also helps them, particularly with people with beginning symptoms of Alzheimer. It helps them to wrap their mind about something. It helps them to get the idea and progress with it. Sorry, I speak too much.
Well, I'll ask another question. This is a wonderful resource that you're providing on your website, and there's a lot there. I don't know if is there anything you want to show us from the website? And I'd just like to know what the future of Grammar Cube, where you see, you mentioned making an app, so you're working on that?
Yes, I do want, because right now it is going on as a scientific project, as a project that was born from the needs of real teachers and students. But of course, it needs to be developed into something more sophisticated, into just imagine that this is actually a model. Imagine this built as an electronic device. Imagine that this electronic electronic device has screens. In all these tables, they are shown as on the screen of a smartphone. Now imagine that you speak to that, and it shows you, it recognizes your patterns, and it shows you in this, and it shows you the actual grammar alive. Wouldn't it be nice in
Voice
class
activated.
to have it like interact? Yes, voice activated, 3D, a live cube that would show you exactly which grammar you use if you use it correctly. And if you make a mistake, it shows you, it goes green or maybe red and says, "Stop, I'm not recognizing your pattern. I don't understand what you see." This is actually what happens in the mind of a human when the speaker doesn't use proper tenses. Okay, when people don't take into consideration the tenses system, and the student doesn't recognize it as well as your counterpart. So there is a number of them, and I try to build up the community, and we already have about 3,000 followers
on your Facebook page.
Yes, I must admit I'm not quite good in organizing and selling. Maybe I'm a good teacher, but I'm not a good salesman.
Just like me.
Sorry for that.
Never make much money on this. Made a lot of money in teaching, but you know.
Yeah. Somebody with better selling or promotional skills would already have built something. Like if there would be some Steve Jobs, he would already sold it on with great profit. But yeah, this is not my area. And but anyway, I try to attract attention. I try to help people to see it. Maybe when we grow in a bigger community, we will be able to do something like that, or maybe physical cube in production or something like that.
Well, we met when you suggested, you asked me if you could put on an EVO session based on this, and I suggested, well, let's get to know you better. Let's let's see what it is. And incidentally, there's somebody who's putting on an EVO session on grammar at the moment. I don't know if it's compatible with. I think I sent you an email about it. Well,
I'm not remember if I'm not sure if I got it.
Well,
let's consider.
It doesn't. I can resend it or whatever. But anyway, it's as far as EVO, that's Electronic Village Online, is concerned. The question would be: would this be a part of a grammar session on grammar, which would teach a spectrum of grammar, or could you focus an EVO session on just this? So anyway, that's kind of what we're trying to tease out. You can decide. You can for next year, because we're past the proposal stage now. But that's how we met, and I became very intrigued with what you were doing. I mean, I've never seen anything like this before, and it's and I wanted to learn more about it. That's why I asked you to come and talk to Learning Together, and that's very interesting. So I don't know. Well, what
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes. Okay. So if people want to learn more about it, they have your granav.com, and they have your Facebook page, and all these links are. But is there anything else you want to show us before we leave here from your website or anything?
Yes. Probably.
Okay.
Because except for GrammarCube, if you go to my website, there is a number. Maybe you can share a screen so people when they watch this on.
Okay, I'm at the one that says features, 3D models, freeware, etc. at the top. Is that the one?
Can you screencast?
Yes, I will.
Screencast that. Can you share your screen?
Okay. Okay, I was last back at this page right here. Okay, where to now?
So, first of all, if you want to use the GrammarCube as you have seen, you can click 3D models.
Okay.
Just click 3D models, and it puts you into, yes, these are These are two versions of Grammar Cube. Yes, this is Grammar Cube, a simple one.
Let's look at Grammar Cube Kids, because we had Grammar Cube on earlier. Grammar Cube Kids has rabbits and carrots. Tell me about those.
Yeah, it's built with kids in mind.
Oh, I think
let's wait until it opens.
Yeah, okay. I think before maybe the carrots and the rabbits were where the dinosaurs are in the other model.
No.
Okay.
The idea with rabbits and carrots is to carry on the aspects and tenses in the pictures, which would be easier for children to recognize and process in a more, like, gamification, playable way. See? Just a moment.
There we go. Okay.
The grammar. Yeah. So if you look at that closer, you can see that. So simple tenses. Rabbit eats 1 carrot every day. So repeatable carrots. You see.
Okay. That's present.
It shows that every day.
How can I go from here? Oh, here it is. Okay.
Click yes.
Okay.
So you see that. Let's start with past simple.
Okay.
Past simple number 1. Click number 1. So you can see that the carrot.
He ate the carrot.
Rabbit already ate the carrot. Yes, there's no carrot already.
He's probably hungry today, but he had that carrot yesterday.
Yeah, but we're speaking about the past, yesterday. Okay. So in the lower part of just click number 1. Click number 1. On the lower part, you can see R and I. These are regular and irregular verbs.
Okay.
Click on that. So,
okay.
Yes, here you have these past indefinite irregular verbs. Close it. And this is irregular verbs, you see?
Okay, sorry, let's see. Let me close those. I is irregular. I see, okay. Okay. But that's the same as regular. Oops. Okay. So if these are regular.
You cannot watch them together. It's either 1 or 2.
Yes.
So after that, you can click who. This is how you close this table. This is plus. Okay.
If I close the table, yeah.
Now, if you have who and we WH with plus. So when I explain it to children or to younger students, I explain that you can build sentences with question words, but they are divided into 2 categories. The first category is question sentences with question words, and except the one which is who. And if you understand this way, I make it more simple, because when if you say to a kid, to a 10-year-old student, something like, "This is how you build question sentences to the predicate," or "This is how you build to the subject." The words subject and predicate, they don't resonate in their mind. They have nothing to put it on. But when you speak about who and all others, this is much more simple to process. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. So who and present continuous, you see that the rabbit is eating
present
5.
Continuous. Present continuous, yes.
Number 5. The rabbit is eating the carrot now. See? So if you click on the
who is eating,
who is going, who is eating, right?
And what
am I?
What is it or he? What is he eating? Okay.
Eating, yeah. What is he eating? Probably I should redo it. Yes, right. If you start with eating, you should better do it in eating. Okay, close it. And the general, yes, okay, plus, question, and minus. These are general tables. That's it. Well,
not
you
going.
already know.
Question, not yes, negative.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is, again, it helps, you see, this is in some sort a simplified form of a grammar cube, which is, it doesn't have the future and the past. It is, well, it's a little bit more simple in terms of presentation, but it helps children to play with and to memorize different tenses. Okay? That's it.
Okay.
Okay, let's try it. You stop, please.
Oh, I can go back. What do you want me to try?
And there's one else, something else I want to show. These are.
Hang on a minute. Let's see. Okay, I'll go here. All right. So that's I just had to find one that I want to use. Okay, so that one. Okay, that's where we were before. Okay.
So now click on the products.
The products, yes. Okay.
Product, yes, which is VR prototypes. In the middle, VR prototypes. Yeah, that's it. This is another channel that I have on Sketchfab. This is a special resource for 3D artists. A lot of amazing stuff here. But these guys are great. They helped me to. They give a teacher's account for free, and these are special designs of the grammar cube that help to teach particular difficult areas of grammar. For example, let's scroll to the top, to the very top. Okay, and you can see a sequence of tenses. Click sequence of tenses. Well, we should give it a little time to load online.
Okay.
So now you can see. Can you click it to make it a whole screen? It's on the on the down.
Yep. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So now if you click one, it will. Yeah. And you can always stop it in their particular way. Just pause it. And this blue dot, just put a little bit down, back way. Blue dot on blue dot.
The blue dot.
Blue dot, which is it's not only, it's on the player. Yeah, that's.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Go back. Yes. No more. Go back. Yeah, that's it. So now, no, don't stop it. Don't stop it. Now, yes, click one.
Click one, okay.
And this is how it shows you how the sequence of tenses works. For example, future goes into future and the past. This is actually the way how shift of tenses happens. So, and this example, explanation.
Okay.
Now, yes, now click number 2, and the blue dot, go forward to blue dot. That's it. So present goes into past, you see? Just that should goes into, click number 2. It will stop as number 2. Okay. That's it.
Okay.
Yes. Same as number 3. Click number 3 and play it a little further. Yeah, let's stop it. She said that she went to park goes, and she said that she had done it. What happens?
Okay. So these are like tutorials that are based on your model.
Yes. And number 4, you can play further, which is also switches to. That's it. Stop it. You see? So when students explore sequence of tenses in this way, it helps them to memorize the principle much easier, you see, because they see the mechanics of visualized mechanics of a language. This way it helps them to memorize it much faster. Okay. The same works with the passive. The same works with modal verbs. Yes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You can click on the number 9 or number 10. Click number 9. It will self-adjust into necessary position.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this takes you through all the numbers, and I guess I should play that a little bit.
Yes, it will. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So I'm not processing this greatly. I guess I'm sort of one of those.
No, you're right. For example, right now you're in number 10. It shows how present goes into past.
Into a past, example, yes.
Yeah, compare. She says that she must go there. Okay, all this one. And here you can see that in this particular situation, it has nowhere to switch to, so it stays on the same position. In case of
okay.
That's it. You see?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I did look at that, and I was wondering how to progress through it. So, how to go from 4. I didn't really understand how the because it was playing. But anyway, that certainly helps.
You have to stop. Yes, you have to stop it each time.
Yes.
Once it is fixed in a position, you have to stop it. The same time the teacher can do that. And once the students see it, they understand it, they can do it right away too. It's not so complicated.
Yes, I think so. Once you've shown someone how to do it, they can see what it's telling you and what it indicates. So, okay. Are there any others?
That's it.
Okay.
Yes, that's it. Okay, go back to this.
I can.
Okay. Can you show us the screen?
Let's see if I go back to this one. Oops, I gotta. No, how do I get back?
Okay, go to the right, bottom right corner.
Bottom right.
And there should be it should be something. Or maybe you just click escape.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go back to my browser and click the back button.
Yeah.
So, yes. Okay. Now, yes. Okay. So now I'm back at the 3D models. Okay. I think I can navigate from there.
Can you show us the screen again?
Yeah. So that animation took it over. I couldn't navigate from there. Okay, so
now let's go to the next one, the interactive cube, which is not this one. No, this is not. No, we are already there.
Oh, I see. It's at the top. No.
Yeah. The next two sequence of tenses, the one with British flag.
Interactive grammar cube.
Yeah, that's good. This one is transformer for showing how different tenses relate to each other when they are in 3D space. And if you expand it to the whole screen again, that's good. Okay, now please, yes, and stop it. You can, just move this blue dot into a position when the cube is activated. Yeah,
like that?
That's it. Yeah, that's it. So this is the one for teaching students how different tenses. For example, in Russian, we don't have two past tenses, two layers of the past. We have only one past, one present, and one future. And this transformer grammar cube shows how in English these layers are arranged. For example, the future tenses show that there's only one future tense in English, no future one, future two, like in German, for example. Futur 1, Futur 2. Okay, and in present, we already have some click number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Click number 2, okay. This is present tenses, they are shown. And if you click number 3, this is where it shows you the past tenses, which is explaining it in 2 levels. The closer past, which is past indefinite and past continuous. Click number 4.
I don't see number 4. Oh, maybe it's
between.
Okay.
It's on the top, just right above.
Oh, I see. Yes, I see. Okay.
Okay. No,
3, 4, and 5. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
3, 4, 5. So open it. Yes.
Open it.
No. It just let it play. Let it play.
Okay.
Let it play until it opens. Okay. Stop it.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can switch between number 4 and number 5.
Mm-hmm.
You see? Number 5 shows how distant past works. Number 4 shows how close the past works. So in geometrical way, it explains that there are 2 layers on the past in English language, and when students see those both layers, one of them is more distant, one of them is more closer, they can realize that they easier grasp it like as a concept. You see, and this way it helps. And as I said, the most weird and the most complicated present perfect, which is usually the most difficult to explain, click number 8.
Number 8.
Which is usually makes the biggest difficulty for, at least for Russian students, because we don't have this concept of something which is a little bit here, but maybe a little bit there. And this one helps them to understand. If you click between 6 and 7, it shows that this particular tense is a bridge between number 6, which is past. Click number 6. It's in real next to number 9. Yes. So actually, this is the bridge between this one, past, and number 7, which is okay. Click number 8 if you want. Click number 8.
Okay.
Has have.
Okay, these are. Okay. Number 6.
Number 7. Number 6 and number 7. Click number 7. Number 7 is present. You see, so this is a bridge. Present perfect is a bridge between present and the past.
But it's always connected to the present. That's why it's the present perfect.
Absolutely. This is why by one side it is always connected to the present. You see, this is why
there must be an anchor in the present.
Yes, this is it. This is why geometrically it's always anchored to the present. You see,
goes back to the past, but it anchors to the present.
Absolutely, yes, you're right. And this is why it is arranged like that here on the table. So
this one is past, you say, have done something, but that's it's a surface which is it's general. It's a tense because it's by one side it is in the past, but on the other side it is in the present. Okay. But over here, these are the past tenses. That's the past. And this one, you have it in the present, but if you click number 6, it says it's past. Technically, it's present, I think.
No, it's already in the past. It is deeper inside the cube. You see, it's on the same level as past simple and past continuous.
If your students understand it, that's great. It's a hard one to get your mind around. It's like imperfect in French. It's languages have these things that they have to be intuitively understood. They're understood by native speakers. Very hard to convey to foreign speakers. So you just have to get them from reading, from speaking, from listening. Sort of assimilate the mindset that is in the head of the native speaker.
just as I said, there are sorts of people like engineer, like physicists, like people with all that technical mind arrangement, and this is particular way that is clear resonates with them. This is the way they understand it much easier than in the words. Of course, this is a specialized tool. Of course, maybe it is not for everyone, of course, but for those people who have this kind of thinking, it helps a lot. It kills all birds and by one stone, and it's just straightforward to their mind. And as I said, it's not for everyone, but for those who like it, and for those people who get it, it helps them a lot. Okay, so, but we understand that all people are different. For some people, you need it in words. For some people, you need it in this one. So it's always better to have the options. Okay, it's always better to give more than one tool to solve the problem, because whichever works is best. Okay.
Yeah. But it works through example. So if you give this is the kind of thing that needs to be acquired, not through a matrix of algorithms, but it needs to be acquired through through getting the whatever makes our native speaker competencies understand what our language is in Russian or in English. That just needs to be acquired through interacting with people with that mindset and then figuring it out, making it your own mindset. But anyway, I can see where this is a very deep level, by the way, of grammar. This is a really hard one, and I really admire what you have done with the grammar cube. Hit all these levels. I asked you at one time if you could make such a thing for another language. Maybe for the recording, I'd like to get your reaction to that, because as I mentioned, Spanish is one that, boy, I could really use a grammar cube in Spanish. But you looked at that.
Yes.
You said it only works for English.
Yeah, but you see, you're right, but theoretically, it is the way to present the complexity of grammar, express the grammar by the means of geometry, you see? And in certain way, well, we all know that different grammars, they differ in their complexity, right? We all know in intuitive level that, for example, Arabic grammar is much more complicated than English, right? Well, you know that grammars are different and their level of complexity is different. But,
I don't know about that. Arabic grammar is very predictable.
But, yes, it is predictable, but level of complexity is different. So number of items to be taken in considerations are different. For example, like if we take even English and German, in my experience learning in the university, in linguistic university, for example, for a typical Russian student to acquire a decent level of English, it's about 2 years of life. If you good and hardworking student, it is 2 years and you are already proficient speaker. For German language, it is about at least 5 years, 3 to 5 years the least. So the level of complexity is higher. So this way of presenting grammar may be the way to express it in a geometry and to make it visible. But when I try to apply this concept to the languages, other languages than English, I find this task so complicated, so difficult, that I just quit this idea. And I said, oh no, I don't want to play with Spanish, with French, with German, Arabic, or whatever. Whoever will do that, I will just worship this person because it will be the smartest person on the earth, but it will not be me, okay? Because my task now is to promote this one for English, because there are lots and lots of millions, hundreds of millions of people who lose their lives on learning in their efforts to learn English. They desperately want it. They need it for a number of reasons. And my task and my goal, as I see it now, is to promote it to the educational practice and to bring it to the classes, to bring it to students, to help them to solve their practical needs, because this is a very practical task that needs to be solved. It's a big frustration, and Grammar Cube, the arrangement of the grammar organizer, it helps to address this issue. I can solve it. Why not do it? Okay. And once we sort this one out, maybe we will go to German, Russian, Japanese, or whatever, but it will not be me. Sorry, I'm not that smart at all.
Let's tell people how, because you're, as you said, you're not a financial whiz. You're not making yourself rich. You're just doing this through passion, like I'm doing this through passion, just meeting people like you and talking to people and promoting knowledge. So how can people get Grammar Cube? They go to granav.com.
Yes, anyone with a desire and a wish just to try to play with it, you go to granav.com. Everything is free. Whatever is there, it's free. Yes, it's some explanations and explaining features.
Here it is.
3D model. Yeah.
One of these? Mm-hmm.
Yes,
okay.
one of these. So they are free. You can use it.
I'm not going to click there. We've seen it, but that's where you go to granav.com, and there's the website, and there's some explanation there, and click there. It's under freeware. There's more freeware.
Yes, there's more freeware. There is lesson plans and activities. If you are a teacher, you can use them for free as well. Just to give you idea how to use this or that particular kinds of grammar cube or grammar tenses in your lessons, just to make it more. Click on it. You can click any one of them.
Okay. Let's see. A lesson plan, sequence of tenses, lesson plan. Okay.
Lesson plan.
We saw a sequence of tenses. Okay.
So this is a lesson plan that helps you to arrange your lesson. This is some explanation. There are links. Yes.
Okay. I'd like to. Are you still following my screen? What's the simple and perfect infinitives? No, let's see. Past infinitive.
Click on that.
What's it? Okay. I was looking for the one that had present perfect. Okay. Past indefinite and present perfect. That's the killer in English. That's not everyone can understand that. So building the present perfect. Okay. Exercise 1. Has she wakened up yet? Or they have.
This is the one how to build it.
Put the verb in the correct form. They have repaired, I suppose. They have repaired. Okay, so I have they. So this is all present perfect. So we want to distinguish between the present perfect and the past. That's the tricky one. Do you like Rome? I don't know. I haven't visited Rome. Okay. I saw him 5 minutes ago. Yes. Now that's a nice coat. Yes, I bought it last month. Okay. I went to bed late last night. Yes. Okay. I've read it already. Okay. So those are that's the one that catches the non-native speakers. That one that's so difficult to explain even in Grammar Cube.
Yes.
Okay.
And these are samples which can be used, and everyone with access to internet can use it. So you can download it, you can use it or reuse some materials for free. It's open source, and the idea is to promote it as a concept and to let people know that there is this kind of materials there. Well, this is me and my wife.
Yeah, nice.
She's my manager.
If you're not making any money, she's not a very good manager. No, seriously.
Well, maybe, but she just trying to help me. By the way, this whole website is her job, because before it wasn't. She pushed me into this one, and it helped a lot to promote it.
Well, she's better than my wife then. Although my wife supports me in so many ways, so she doesn't. We don't. This is not for money. Money comes somewhere else. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is it. This is it, and you can click and play and use whatever you want from here. Well, and maybe someday we will go into crowdfunding. Maybe we will get some number of people who will want this mobile app, and I will. We will have the team, and we will build a mobile app like commercial. So it will help because right now you can use this only on a laptop and desktop computers. You may try to use it with mobile devices, but since it is not optimized, it is like, play of chance. It may work, it may not work. So whatever it is, if your device is powerful enough, it will work, but if it's not, it's not. And it's not optimized for using on mobile devices. So this is one of the ideas to build a mobile device to mobile application to be used, adjusted and adapted for using mobile devices, so people around the world, students could use. This is one of the ideas.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Nick, for coming along to talk to us about your interesting invention. And
Thank you.
I wish you great success with it, and I'd like to know when you develop it further. I'm sure you'll let me know. And
absolutely.
Yeah, so this is Nick Koretsky in Moscow, who's talking to us about his grammar cube, which you can use for free. And me, I'm Vance Stevens in Penang, Malaysia. And it's the 22nd of September, and we're on learningtogether.net. And this is episode 421. Hoping to make it to 500 one of these days. So anyway, nice to meet you, Nick, and thanks a lot for all the interactions we've had leading up to this. This has been quite interesting for me, a great learning experience.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks. Okay.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye-bye.